Peace, y'all. Grand Rising. Um, I'm back. I don't know how many more videos I got left. Give you guys my influences and inspirations, but this part of it will be some of my inspirations by way of some of my influences, whatever the case. But we're gonna get into the music part of it. And yeah, man. Let me think of where to start. What's crazy about the music is that my mom, she was a different type of woman, man, like I told y'all before. So she didn't even really let me listen to too much rap music like that. In the beginning anyways. In the beginning she was real strict with the music and what I listened to, because she didn't want it to affect my subconscious. So she was very strict, very strict. But in third grade I ended up becoming friends with my boy Nelly. And he was the way he was raised in his household, he was basically kind of spoiled. He was borderline spoiled. Like they gave him everything he wanted. You know what I mean? That's why he had Jordans early and all types of shit. Like, I'm talking about 9 years old, 8 years old. This dude's got Retro 7, Bordeaux 7s, and Olive 9s, and Retro 11s, all types of shit at a very, very, very young age. Ultimate Warrior starter jackets and all types of shit. Anything he wanted, he got. So needless to say, he was the one that introduced me to music, that later became a passion of mine. You know what I mean? He had a Walkman before people could afford Walkmans, and when Discmans came out, he had the Discman. So that's where we at with it. So I remember, let me think. So my mom in the house, she was playing Mariah Carey, Toni Braxton, Peeble Bryson, who else? Donna Summers. Who else did she have in the crib? She had an assortment of R&B and love music. I like to call it love making music, and just high vibrational music that just helped you feel good. You know what I mean? She had that playing all the time, and she would blast it to the point where me and my sister would know the words, and we'd run around just singing it also. And there's like, even my sister's friends will tell you, when they used to come over when we were younger, I'd be running around singing all these songs. So that was the music that was introduced to me early. Then, like I was saying with my boy Nelly actually, with him having the Walkman and shit, I remember one time he would spend a night, and one day he leaves a tape. Now, I don't remember, what is this, 90s, what is this? I want to say it's like 91, 92. Not really sure what year it is, but I know it's early 90s, whenever Doggy Style came out. And that was the beginning of what was gonna snowball into something that I had no idea that it would have turned into. So he spent the night. One day he would come over with his tapes, Camp Low, Tribe Called Quest, Fushnikins, Criss Cross, all that shit. And he ended up leaving Snoop Dogg at my house by accident. Now, mind you, out of all the music he could have left, he leaves the most vulgar music on the face of the planet. At that time, anyways. So, I was going to sleep to Christmas music, like rum bum bum bum. That used to be my song. I used to be going to sleep to that shit, no cap. And that shit was just crazy, bro. Like crazy. The fact that I would go to sleep to that. So one day I stumbled across a tape that he left, and that was that Snoop Dogg shit, that Doggy Style shit. And I think I was in 6th grade when he left that. Pretty sure it was 6th grade. Have to do some fact checking on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like 6th, 7th grade. Anyways, when he left it, well, hold on, because during that, I had met him and my boy Josh at the same time, right? And him and my boy Josh used to freestyle all the time. This is a white dude. He was already listening to a lot of music himself. He was a white boy that grew up in the hood, so a lot of the dudes that he was around was playing all this hip-hop shit. So he would freestyle to the point when I'm spending the night over there, I'd be like, yo, would you shut the fuck up? Like, I could not stand that shit. It just sounded like a bunch of noise because this nigga was just rapping all the time, and I just wanted to go to sleep. I would jump off the bunk and be wrestling around with him to get him to shut up. And so he actually was the first introduction, or he was the first one to introduce me to hip hop in that fashion. And I met him and Nelson at the same time. We were all friends together. And then Nelly hit me with left the Doggy Style tape when I didn't even want to hear hip hop. So I ended up popping that joint on. And man, the way Snoop got up in here turned me out, bro. Turned me out. Like, I was like, yo, this is what I've been missing. So I remember telling my mom, she came in and heard, she was like, why are you listening to this music and all this stuff? And I was just like, I like it. And I remember they used to have those little things. I can't remember the name of the company, Columbia House or some shit, where it would come in and you would order the music off of there. And I remember I told her, I was like, yo, I want some rap music. And she was like, nah. And she ended up ordering me music, but it was music that wasn't Snoop Dogg. Like, she ordered me LL Cool J and, you know, all the soft shit. And it's not to throw shots at LL, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted this Snoop. I wanted this Wu. I wanted this Method Man. Like, that's what I wanted. I didn't want no LL. But she got me, like, all the LL albums at the time that he had came out with. And I remember it wasn't the same. You know what I mean? So, from there, I talked her into getting me Wu-Tang, getting me Method Man, Old Dirty Bastard. It went on from there. Then, because I was listening to that, it opened my mind up to be able to listen to more things. And that's how I got introduced to Mobb Deep and Nas. And that was through my white boy Josh as well, because he was already bumping that shit. But when he was bumping it, I didn't want to hear that shit. So once Nelly left the Snoop Dogg joint, and I was already addicted to, or I just wanted more. I was craving more and more. I was like, yo, I need more music. So that's when my mom allowed me to open it up a little bit, and I got the Old Dirty Bastard and the Wu-Tang or whatever. Now, mind you, I actually became a rapper later on, but these weren't my influences. Like, Snoop inspired me to attempt to write a rhyme when I thought, for whatever reason, in my mind, I thought artists were taking pieces of other artists' stuff and putting it all together and creating a rhyme. I don't know why I thought that. So I went to Forest Park Middle School. So I remember my first rhyme I wrote was in middle school, and it was it came. I started writing that because a dude, Jason Loho, was rapping. And I don't know if he was rapping his own raps or he had put his own shit together, but either way, that inspired me to try to do it. So I'm like, oh, we can do this shit too. So I went home and tried to pen my own shit, and I ended up taking fragments of everybody else's rhyme, putting it all together and calling it my own. So that was my first time I attempted to become a rapper, or at the time I didn't even know I was becoming a rapper, if that was the genesis of the whole shit. But those were my early inspirations behind that. Was hearing Jason Loho spit whatever he was spitting, because I think as I got older, I realized that some of the shit he was spitting was actually from an actual a song too. I think it was a Wu-Tang song or something. He was listening to something that I wasn't listening to at the time and thought it was him. Then as I got older, I realized that was that guy. Can't remember who it was though. Making a long story short, so from there, that didn't work out too well. Once I found out dudes weren't taking other people's raps, well, some dudes were, come to find out, but you know what I mean. Yeah, once I found out that I had to come up with my own shit, I took a break from that shit. I said, yo, this ain't for me. But I kept listening to the music. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep listening to the music. This gotta be, like, this is what, you know, it did a lot for me. You know what I mean? It was therapy. First of all, when you're introduced to something new, everyone becomes addicted to something that's new. Usually when the shit is out the box with the way it was, like going from Mariah Carey to Old Dirty Bastard was crazy. They did a song together too. That's insane. But yeah, going from Mariah Carey to fucking Old Dirty Bastard were two opposite sides of the spectrum. So it was very extreme. Needless to say, Nas, Mobb Deep, and Wu-Tang became my go-to music after that. Now we move into high school, like 9th grade, 10th grade. And this is where shit gets ill. So, like, although Snoop inspired me to write my first rap, I gave that shit up. Pardon me. And once I gave that shit up, I really gave that shit up. Like me rapping was not even a thing. But then people within my city in my age bracket started doing their thing. And a couple guys that were a little older at the time started doing their thing. And that's where my true inspiration came from. I wasn't really inspired besides Snoop to rhyme. My inspirations came from my city. So all these guys that run around when they get interviewed and shit and they're talking about who's your inspirations and they start naming all these fucking A-list rappers and all this other shit, that's not my case. I was inspired by guys in my city. I was inspired by the first groups that I heard that inspired me to pick up the pen was SNS and North Star, and that's my word. SNS, the Shadow Stompers, and North Star. So Life, if I'm not mistaken, was the head of Shadow Stompers, and Glacier Gleam was the head of North Star, and then they came together and did Pangea. So once I heard them guys, I was like, holy shit, like straight inspired. When I say inspired, I'm like, I was bumping their shit. I don't even know how I got their tapes, but I got them. And I remember I would be in my shorty's house that I was with at the time, just listening to this shit, and I'm like, yo, these dudes is nice. And that's where shit got lit. Once I started hearing them and hearing how they put their words together, they just was doing it in a different way. You could hear that their inspiration came from Wu, but a lot of their shit came from their environment and what they were learning at the time. And they were like putting us on the game. Putting the people that were listening on the game. A lot of dudes was just fucking with them because they were popular. But aside from their popularity, these dudes could rhyme. And like, I've never heard 30 niggas that could all rhyme ill as fuck. Like Glacier Gleam, Banshee, fucking Celsius, Nova. Yo, these dudes was crazy. Treacherous. Like, these dudes was crazy. When I say crazy, like, crazy. Especially at the time. Like, ahead of their time. And then after that, I got into Rugged A, fucking Evildoers, Illegal Bastards. Like, shit was lit. DNA, like, all, like, so, anyways, like I said, like, the whole point of this shit right here is to make sure I give the flowers to the dudes while they're still here. We're not gonna wait till dudes pass and act like everyone be running around acting like they're not inspired by one another. That ain't me. I'll tell you straight up who I was inspired by. And I was inspired by North Star, Shadow Stompers, aka Pangea, which was the conglomerate of the two, Illegal Bastards, Evildoers, and the Rugged Assassins. Word. That's what I was inspired by. Shout outs to all them guys. Shout outs to Glacier. He's still doing his thing now. Shout outs to I don't know if the rest of these guys is doing it still, but shout outs to all of them, man. Shout outs to Cell, shout outs to Banshee. Banshee's definitely still doing it. Shout outs to John Air, which was John Wall. And shout outs to the guys that are doing it now. You know what I mean? Fabian, Blacksmith, Young Briggs, Heisman. Shout outs to them guys too. So guys like that and the music they were making and the music my dudes is making today makes me proud as fuck to be from this city. Like, a lot of dudes be, oh man, I can't wait to get money and get up out of here. Yeah, but you can get the money and get up out of here, but like, we got fucking history here. Like, anybody that acts like they weren't inspired by these dudes is lying to you. If they grew up the way I grew up and grew up where I grew up, they were directly inspired by all those groups that I just named. Like, the city musically did not move without hearing music from any of those guys I just named, and that's word. Even with DJ Scope, him having his protege, which was Frank Nino at the time, and Frank Nino is a GOAT. He's like one of the GOATs of the city. Shout out to my guy Frank Nino. You know what I mean? Frank Nino, a lot of this shit wouldn't even be moving if it wasn't for Frank Nino at the moment. Like, I'm talking about right now. Like, he was doing his thing back then. I'm talking about right now. Frank Nino, like, when niggas come in from the city and brothers come in from the city, I'm talking about celebs. They got to connect with that man because that nigga is the ultimate networking king. This nigga is going to plug you in. That dude helped me meet so many different people. It's not even funny. Him and Shamal. Like, if it wasn't for them guys, a lot of people I wouldn't have been able to meet, a lot of contacts I wouldn't have been able to make. So, like I said, man, we got to give these guys their flowers while they're still here. So shout outs to Frank Nino, shout outs to Shamal. These are the GOATs of the city. Shout outs to DJ Scope, shout outs to Rottweiler, shout outs to Tuka G, shout outs to all these guys, man. Shout outs to, and again, shout outs to fucking Glacier, shout outs to Life, shout outs to my man Kwame, which he was known as Nova at the time. Shout outs to Kwame. And that's where we at with it. There was even some girls. What was it, Solaris? Shout outs to her. Shout outs to Bonnie Stone. Shout outs to Chev. So that's where we at, man. And like I said, man, much love and respect to the guys that are still doing it today, man. Shout outs to them, man. And we need to come together, bro. We need to come together because, like, our city's the shit. Word. Our city is the shit, nigga. We got history here. We got legends. And we got legends and we got legends in the making. You know what I mean? So, like, any of y'all that ain't trying to, like, put the guns down and make peace, like, remember one thing, you know what I mean? The only enemy is yourself, and that's word. The only enemy is yourself. The only war you're fighting is the war of knowing what's good and what's feeling what's good. You know what I mean? That's the only war. That's the only war you're fighting, is you thinking what's good versus you knowing what's good. That's the only war. You know what I mean? So a lot of me being who I am, is a gift and a curse because I'm neutral as fuck. So me being neutral as fuck, I know everything that's fucking going on. You know what I mean? I know all these guys. A lot of these guys that be busting their gun, I get the call and I gotta talk them off the ledge. And when I'm saying talk them off the ledge, I'm not talking about these niggas is ready to commit suicide. I'm talking about these niggas is ready to go to jail for murking a nigga. So at the end of the day, I know there's opportunity for everyone out here to make right. We got niggas that's beefing for generations. There's generational beef, like where niggas children's children is beefing. Like, we gotta put the guns down, nigga, and realize the only enemy is ourselves, man. And that's word. So shout outs to all the people that's willing to rise and elevate, and shout outs to the ones that think about rising and elevating. Peace to y'all, man. It's the God Almighty. And remember, it's no shade on anybody else's city. Hopefully y'all got an almighty. So my duty as a black man is to civilize the uncivilized. You feel me? Peace.